Awesome. Hello, my friends. We are live on YouTube and LinkedIn. I'm waiting just a second for StreamYard to connect with my group. There we go. So we can be live in my free Facebook group as I promised. Awesome. I see us there. Happy Friday Eve day to everybody. I am so excited to see you. I don't know about you guys, but this is the first time back after the holidays, and the holidays felt like they were a very long time, which was nice on the one hand, but then on the other hand, long about the end of the second week, I didn't know what day it was. I was like, anyway, am I going to work again? Is anybody ever going to work again? So I'm so glad we're all back to it. You guys know how I do things around here using StreamYard. I am live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and in my free Facebook group. So if you're coming to us from one of those locations, pop your comments into the chat and let us know. Today, my special guest is Mike Capuzzi. Mike, I hope I just pronounced that correctly.
You did.
Okay, good. Because I said it and then my brain went. My special guest is my friend Mike. If you've ever thought about writing a book to boost your business income, you are in for a treat. He's going to share with us just how simple this process can be with something he calls a shook. Do not try to say that word 5 times fast because you will get yourself in trouble. But first, just in case this is the first time we've ever met, or it's been a little bit because of the holidays, I am Tracy Beavers. I am an award-winning business and sales coach with over 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and business growth. And several years ago, I became fully and finally fed up with my corporate career, and I hatched a plan to fully exit. And once I did, my business boomed. And in the second full year of my business as a business coach, I busted through the 6-figure ceiling and I haven't looked back. And I do not say that to brag. I am not a braggy braggerson. I want to share that with you because if you are sitting in a cubicle in a job that feels like a jacket that is 2 sizes too small, or you ditched it and you're starting the new year, building your own business, I want you to know that you can do it. If I can, you can too. I teach all organic visibility and list growth strategies, and I have coached hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you to get the visibility you need to grow your email list so you get that consistent monthly income. The strategies I teach get your list growth happening automatically every day in the background of your business without paid ads or creating more free lead magnets. Drop your questions and comments into the chat for us as we go along. Mike and I will be happy to answer those at the end. And if you are watching us on replay and you have a question for Mike, just go ahead and pop it in there. I will see it and I will get a question. I will get the answer for you. Let me introduce my friend Mike. You guys are in for a treat. He is a nonfiction book coach, an author of over 20 books. Yes, I said 20, and a publisher with over 25 years of experience helping entrepreneurs just like us harness the power of short, impactful books, something he calls a shook. And I love to ask our guests for a fun fact. Did you know that he has personally published 20 of his own books? I think that's incredible. Mike, welcome in. Is there anything you want to add or any other fun facts you want to share with everybody?
No, Tracy. I think you probably hit it on it. We've actually helped over 250 entrepreneurs become authors. So that's kind of cool. It's a little feather in the cap. I love helping business owners and entrepreneurs really kind of stake their claim and be different. So
yeah, I love that. It makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it?
It does. It does for sure.
All right, let's dive in because I'm sure my audience wants to know, Mike, what the heck is a shook?
Yeah. So I'm a marketing guy, right? And fundamentally I'm a marketing guy. And it's marketing is about differentiation, articulating unique value, all that stuff, right? Because we all have competition. So, no matter what you do, you've got to stand out. So a shook stands for short, helpful book. So it's my made up word, if you will, or at least the way we use it is a made up version to really define our brand of nonfiction books. Tracy, McDonald's, Burger King both have hamburgers. One's the Big Mac, one's the Whopper, right? Same thing, different name, different brand. And a shook is just our unique brand. Now, we just like those food products, we have a very specific recipe that a shook follows. I'm sure we'll talk about that, but that's what a shook is, a short, helpful nonfiction book.
I love it. All right. So tell us, why should we consider writing one? I mean, I don't know about everybody in my audience, but I can guess that there are people out there that feel like I do. When somebody tells me, oh, I think it'd be a great idea if you wrote a book. I'm sitting here thinking, an entire book
Mm,
by myself? I mean, of course, I go immediately to War and Peace, which is like,
right.
1,000 pages. So tell us, what you already told us kind of what makes the shook different, and you've got a special sauce for it. I love the food analogies, by the way, and it's
Oh
almost
yeah.
lunch. This is not helping me
Yes.
at all. But why, I mean, like, why should we write one? How would you help somebody like me see the value in it so much that it overcomes that fear?
All right. So this literally just happened an hour and a half ago. All right.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'm in between hosting my own podcast today.
Uh-huh.
Right. So
Yeah,
I have another one this afternoon. A guest I'm interviewing.
nice.
So I just interviewed a young gentleman. I'm guessing late 20s, early 30s. He is a physical therapist in the UK.
Okay.
And long story short, he started his physical therapist practice clinic in 2019, so not that long ago. First thing he did, now this is not, I don't know him other than I met him today, so this is not working with us. But one of the first things he did back around 2020, right during the time the pandemic hit, was he self-published his own book, targeted, which is very key, to people over 50, men and women over 50,
Right.
and all the things they need to worry about as they age.
Yeah.
Now get this. This is why you want to write a shook or publish a book.
Okay.
That was 2020.
Uh-huh.
He had a lot of success with it at a local level. He's just a local bricks and mortar business owner.
Yeah.
He then launched a YouTube channel in 2022 timeframe.
Okay.
Like most YouTube channels, didn't really do anything. 2023, all of a sudden, it's starting to get more organic growth.
Mm-hmm.
Today, now that was 2023. Today, less than 2 years later, he has over 1 million subscribers. He's got videos with he's a local business owner, over 1 million views.
Wow.
His little book that he was using, which is really not a little book, it's the opposite of a shook. It's 400 and some odd pages.
Yeah.
But that little book got the publisher, Hayes House, which is a major publisher, caught wind of it. They offered him a 2-book deal, paid books. The first one he did was a rebrand of, it's called Fit Over 50. It's sitting right here. Fit Over 50. No, Thriving Beyond 50. I apologize. Thriving Beyond 50. Anyway, that book, he was sharing the income numbers just from YouTube and the book sales. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Okay.
But here's the more important part, Tracy. It has put him on the map. He is now a worldwide authority on helping men and women over 50 be stronger, be more mobile, have more balance. And he's a kid. And it started with a self-published book. So that is the power. And listen, I've worked with a ton of folks that's a bit out of the norm. And truly, most local business owners or most authors, like especially local business owners who write a book, they're not trying to be world famous. They're trying to be 5 Mile famous. They want to be known as the best physical therapist in their town, which is how he started out. Right. But because of the great quality of content, it grew. So it really is about differentiation. It's about giving value. It's always about thinking about your targeted reader, which is key. Yeah. And if you do that well, Tracy, in a well-crafted book, whether it's 100 pages like I recommend, or in Will's case, 450 pages, it can just transform your life.
Yeah, that is fascinating and good for him.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh my gosh. So I know there's some top reasons why we should consider being a shook author. You just hit on one of them because of the authority we can bring, the credibility. It's nice to be able to say I'm a published author. That's kind of a big deal. Yep. But what are some of the other reasons that you see? You've been doing this for a long, long time. Like, what are some of those really top reasons why we really need to consider this?
Well, just like in Will's case, he here he is targeting a 50+ audience, and he's a 20-something kid, right? Yeah. Good looking guy. And he knew he had to establish credibility, authority. Well, no matter what, Tracy, even in 2025, and it's not going to end anytime soon, being a published book author is one of the best ways to do that. Now, yes, there's other ways today, but truly being a book author is one of them. So we've talked about establishing authority.
Right.
It's also a great tool in that when you have a book and you're business owner, entrepreneur, it gives you a different way to position yourself and different way to market yourself. So and again, let's just go for a moment, because we deal with local business owners. We deal with folks like you and me who have more of a worldwide audience, but let's just talk about local business owners. It gives that local, here's one right here. Here's a shook. This is an elder law attorney here in Pennsylvania. She's published several shooks. This is called You're Not Alone Living with Dementia. So she offers dementia-related services to families who have a loved one suffering from dementia.
Right.
When she markets her law practice, rather than a very traditional, maybe headshot or the shot of all the attorneys she has, like every other attorney does, she can position her book as the device to get attention, offer it for free, a free copy. And it just kind of changes the tone and style of the marketing. So authority, a unique way to market. And again, there is nothing like this, Tracy. You go to a conference, you're at a local chamber of commerce, whatever it might be, and you hand someone your book. A lot of times they'll ask you to autograph it, which is weird. But it just changes the game. Even in today's age, being an author means something.
I love that. So credibility, authority, a way to position yourself from a marketing standpoint that sets you apart from your competition.
Yeah.
And what I heard also is when somebody walks into her office to visit with her and she gives them this book, that's a value add. For her, it's just giving that extra layer of, it's the icing on the cake. It's like sprinkles on the cupcake. Right. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm such a geek with this stuff. So Julie has published 4 or 5 shooks with us. I've worked with her for over a decade, but just to show you the power, I just realized this. I just grabbed it off my bookshelf. Her young daughter just published. As a matter of fact, it's going live next week. She's launching it. Her first shook. She just sent me a beautiful little package, the way she packaged it. But this is her daughter. Her mom wrote the foreword, which is very cool. Her mom, who was, cool. So I only share that because, there's just something special. And a lot of folks have it as a bucket list. Now, again, we're not talking New York Times the kind of books we publish. None of our authors are New York Times bestsellers. Now they can be Amazon bestsellers, but this is not something that you're going to read about in the Wall Street Journal necessarily. Yeah. However, my first book I published in 2007 was written up in Investor's Business Daily, which was kind of a cool little win. Yeah. So it really depends on how you want to take it and what your goals are.
I love it. So we might not be New York Times bestseller, Billboard on Times Square famous, but we could get it. Well, and just as you said, it adds that extra layer of credibility where if you are pitching yourself to a Wall Street Journal or a Forbes or an Inc. magazine or a podcaster that has a big show, it's like, well, gosh, Tracy wrote a book. Okay, maybe I should talk to her. I love that. Yep. Any other top reasons you can think of to persuade us that we need to do this?
Yeah. The other top reason I would say is, it's kind of cool when, family members and people who maybe thought you could never do something like that, and all of a sudden you're an author. But that, listen, I think the most important reason, aside from the personal reasons, is it's about helping others. We put the word helpful in there, short helpful, because there's people out there, Tracy, as you well know, that want what you have, what I have, what your listeners have. Yeah. And if you're focused on serving those individuals, just like Will is serving people, men and women over 50, right, with a very specific audience, with a very specific promise to the book, that is a win-win. And if you can keep it short, that can be read in about an hour or so. I don't know about you, but I think I appreciate it because I know how many books back behind me that I've started and stopped because they're just too darn long.
I know. That's why I don't pick up War and Peace. It's the exact reason. All right, let's talk about another question I know is on my audience's mind, and I know it's on mine too. And you've mentioned it just a little bit, but what kind of money is in a shook? Like, if we're going to spend the time to do this and we're going to invest with someone like you to publish it for us, that's a business expense. And, a lot of my audience wants to know, what's the ROI, Mike?
Well, listen, it's a great question, because if you've noticed, I haven't even mentioned money yet. So, and again, I'm just using it because it's 2 hours ago. In the case of Will, he published that book. It was a giveaway. He has made multiple six figures with that book already.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
sales of the book. That's how many copies he sold.
Okay.
Now, that is not typical. And I often say, don't even worry about selling your shook. It can happen.
Yeah.
My shooks have generated a lot of, a fair amount of money. I want to say a lot of money, but a fair amount of money over the years. They're up on Amazon. But that was not my intention. They're up on Amazon just for distribution purposes.
Right.
The money with a shook, Tracy, is on the back end. It is a introduction. So, for example, I have a shook, which I'm going to, with your permission, offer to your listeners, called the Magic of Short, Magic of Short books.
Yep.
We give it away. We sell it on Amazon. The way we make money from this book is that it introduces people to our concept, our shook concept. It introduces people to why you might want to work with us. And then a percentage of readers will always reach out to us and decide to work with us, right? That's how we make money. So it's really about identifying folks, those folks that reach out to you, Tracy, through a book like this.
Right.
I'd say 8 to 9 times out of 10, when you get them on a Zoom to meet them and discuss working together, you're closing them on that first meeting.
Yeah. So it's a top of funnel strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like it. Okay. I'm going to ask you this question because I'm a list growth strategist. How can we make a shook grow our email list?
Well, so lots of different ways. So a shook, traditional paperback books, audio versions, and digital versions. So let's say we'll take two different pathways. Pathway number one is like myself or someone like yourself who would have a shook on Amazon. Now, when Amazon sells a book, you don't know who buys it.
Nope.
Right? If you bought one of my books, I would never know. Right?
Right.
So we embed triggers, calls to action in a shook so that you're encouraging readers by adding more value, by giving them more value, gifts, whatever, to opt in at your website for more information. And you can build a very nice email list. Again, if Will probably his ears are burning in the UK. He had a very small list just a couple of years ago. He just shared this today. He's now up to over 80,000 people on his list. Yeah. Now he went from a local list to now a global list, but regardless, he's got a big email list. So, having it on Amazon, using it that way. The other way is just, publishing the fact that it's out there everywhere. And if they want a copy of it, they can get a digital copy. We use something called a flip shook. So it's a digital version of the book online. It's not a PDF. It can be read online on your phone, whatever. And hey, opt in here, get it for free. And that's how you build an email list.
As a list growth strategist, I love it. I love it when you have a plan for your authors to grow that list so they can communicate and move people deeper into the funnel.
Absolutely.
Before we get to the special sauce, I did pop Mike's freebie for you into the comments. It's mikecapuzzi.com/magic. Love that. And one of our audience members is Deborah, and she asked, how is this different from Kindle publishing?
Well, it depends on so if you're talking about the type of media publishing, Kindle is just a media, right? It's a digital book media. Book printers are just a media, right? So that's one thing. What we're talking about is the book itself. And really, and we haven't even really touched on it yet, is the recipe, if you will, of what goes in between the front cover and the back cover. According to, to my recipe, it's a very specific thing, just like any good recipe. So Kindle is just a media. It shouldn't be confused with the type of book we're talking about here, which is, a lead generation type book.
Right. But the shook can be obviously in a physical form. And
or a Kindle version.
So it can be put on Kindle.
Oh, absolutely. All my shooks are up on, not all of them. Several of them up on Amazon as some are even audio. So audio, Kindle, paperback.
Perfect. Perfect. And if you do an audio one, do you narrate it yourself?
Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you what, AI is amazing. I just had a friend of mine who's like, she's becoming an AI expert, share something with me yesterday. I was blown away how real
Yes.
it sounded. So anyway, yes, I've read mine, and God, the last thing you want to do is hear a guy from the Philadelphia area reading a book, but
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. All right. Let's talk about the secret sauce really quick. I know we just have a few minutes left, but we got to know about the secret sauce because we started talking about food analogies, and now I need some sauce. What's the secret sauce to the show?
So as quickly as possible. First of all, the paperback version, it's a little, you can't really tell. We actually have different sizes too. We have our standard shook, and then we have something called a pocket shook, which is even smaller and shorter.
Nice.
But this is a different sized physical size. You've gotten copies of them, Tracy. So they're a little bit different size.
Right.
That entices readership. It just intrigues people.
Yes.
The flow, literally chapter by chapter, when I work with a client, I tell them exactly, I encourage them exactly what to put and put it where. So there's a flow from beginning to end, everything from who should read the book being one of the first chapters to your special sauce and call to action at the end. Another component of it is they're very focused, right? So like Julie wrote, she could have written, she's got several other shooks on Alzheimer's disease, et cetera. She wrote a focused shook on people who are living with dementia. So you want it focused.
Okay.
You want calls to action, both, we call them active and passive. Active being this, call me to work with me, come to my store, come to my clinic, whatever it might be. Passive would be opt into my list for more information. So those are just a couple of the ways, the special components of a shook.
Love it. So you have a framework. You have an actual
framework
that somebody could easily follow step by step to work through the whole entire process.
Yeah, it's outlined in the magic of short books.
I love it. I love it. All right. And I popped a link to that into the comments for everybody. Again, it's Mike Capuzzi, spelled CAPUZZI.com/magic, which I think is magical in and of itself. Mike, thank you so much for being with us. Is there anything else you want to add really quick before I wrap this up for everybody?
It's going to sound like a cliche, Tracy, but if this is something, whether you've always wanted to write a book or you can help more people with a book, just do it.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Well, you have really changed my mind and brought me a lot of comfort and given me some things to think about, actually. All right, my friends, I want to ask you a question. Do you have awesome offers, but nobody to sell them to? I've been there. I think we've all been there. And I want to tell you how to fix it. The fastest way to build an audience who cannot wait to buy what you are selling is to get laser focused on building your email list. And when I started this online business, I had no list, no buyers, no income, and a very strong desire to leave my corporate job. And I knew I had to get out there and get visible and attract my ideal clients. So I got super intentional about list building. And in all, I developed over 10 strategies for list growth that are fresh strategies, ones I guarantee you have not heard of, or you've heard of, but don't know how to execute. No paid ads, and I'm not going to tell you to create yet another free lead magnet because you've probably already done that. I want to show you how you can have list growth like me. I've coached hundreds of entrepreneurs exactly how to do this. And the strategies I teach get your list growth happening automatically every day in the background of your business, which I think is pretty cool. Join my free live masterclass. It's called How to Grow Your Email List and Attract Your Ideal Clients Without Paid Ads or More Free Lead Magnets. I'm going to teach you 4 simple strategies that day in my masterclass. I don't do fluff. I want you to learn something. So even if you don't end up joining my 8-week group coaching program, which I am going to tell you about during the masterclass, you can come away with some information that you can use. You also get 2 exclusive free bonuses when you show up live, the Facebook Growth Toolkit and new clients in 30 days. I don't know anybody that doesn't want new clients in 30 days. There are 4 sessions to choose from. So find one that works for you. You just go to tracybeavers.com/masterclass and grab a spot and plan to join us. I'm going to pop this into the comments on Facebook so that if you haven't already grabbed a spot or you haven't already been through Business Visibility Made Easy, which is my 8-week group coaching program, you can plan to join us. Mike, thank you again for being with us. It really means a lot to me that someone as busy as you are would take time to come talk to us and really help change our minds about how daunting it can feel to write a book.
Well, Tracy, thank you very much. And I appreciate the opportunity.
You're very welcome. All right, my friends, be here every Thursday at 11:30 Central. Set a phone alarm, put it on your Google Calendar. And the biggest thing I want you to hear today is don't try to grow this business by yourself. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. Some days, everybody wants to buy your book that you wrote, and other days, people are going, "You wrote a book?" Yeah. And it feels like you're alone, and it feels like a roller coaster. Get into a community of support, a community that'll have your back. My free Facebook group is a great example of that. It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. I want you to have a great balance of the week and weekend. And I want you to remember that when one of us rises, we all rise. So that is why we have got to keep cheering each other on. And I will see you guys next week.